Hi, this is Tim Alexander, Lord Stirling. This is kind of a beta test of some video newscasting I'm going to do. Not all the software is integrated yet, and of course I've made it even more difficult on myself. I added a couple other software programs for an intro, and that's not ready yet. Part of the problem is I'm rather stupid when it comes to certain software programs, particularly the ones that uh, the instructions are written for somebody with at least a master level background in computer science. I have a master's, but I'm in computer science. Anyway, uh, today's news is pretty much a continuation of where we've been at in the last week or so. Uh, we have proxy wars, and proxy wars stalled. The Ukrainian proxy war is kind of on the back burner. Still, people are being killed. The armies are in the field, but there's a truce, more or less. Syria, there are conflicting reports that the Syrian government of Assad is very much in danger. Others say that as of late he's been making great strides. I think it's kind of a combination of the two. The Syrian army has been successful in many places, but the forces, which are the globalist and Zionist forces, aligned with Saudi Arabia and the Gulf Cooperative Council monarchies, are pouring a great deal of money, arms, manpower into the fight against him. Um, Evidently, Turkey was getting ready to cross the line and declare safe zones. And the deputy leader of the main opposition party in parliament in Turkey outed that and at least put a temporary stop to that particular maneuver, which probably would have immediately resulted in a general Middle Eastern war and quite possibly the Third World War. The violence, the war in Yemen continues. There's a truce on. The truce has been seriously violated by the Royal Saudi Air Force. Saudi Arabia is more of a very rich clan or tribe uh, that rules over just a big hunk of empty desert with a few areas of urbanized wealth. The wealth is based on oil, of course. Um, I always, as an analyst, I try to explain the process of looking at the world. I tell people to stand back from the trees and look at the forest, and even further back, stand back from the planet and look at the broad patterns you can see. The broad pattern is that depending on how far out you want to draw the circle, the 8 families or the 30 families of the global banking cartel. This is their end game. They have created chaos. They work through wars and economic booms and bust. And we are now and have been for some time, in economic depression since about 2008. It's not a recession. It's certainly not a recovery from a recession, as the lying mainstream media and political horse like to tell you. It's an economic depression that's global, but it's about to go into an all-out economic collapse, and we appear to be headed towards the Third World War. The signs are overwhelming. Pope Francis says we're already in the Third World War. It's only piecemeal. I'd say that is correct. Um, there are broad forces that are opposed to the Rothschild-headed global banking cartel and the Zionists. And these forces, well, you have to have an enemy to have a world war. And to some extent, that's the route we're going. Um, the Rothschilds and their allies have been very good at using their Khazarian Jewish connections to get the support of many Jewish people around the world, but many Jewish people are waking up to the fact that they've been used and they know the history of what many of the Zionists did to their own people, and many know that Hitler was 1/4 Rothschild in ancestry. It's all scam for power, wealth, and money, uh, and to service a false god, Lucifer, who is a god of hate, who wants blood, death, the blood orgy of war, in particular world war. We've seen in 100 years now 2 world wars, a Cold War, countless smaller wars, revolutions, the slaughter of about 80 to 100 million people, what had been the Russian Empire, and even larger numbers in China and so forth under communism, which of course was written by or compiled by Karl Marx, who was Ashkenazi and was paid for by the Rothschild family. The global banking cartel funded the Lenin and the revolutionaries, and of course they funded the rise of Adolf Hitler. We're headed into a really horrible period, but as a Christian, I believe that we will see the return of Christ, that he will save what's left of the human race after we're so insane as to actually begin the all-out phase of the Third World War. That's really where we're at. I'm not giving specifics on this particular beta test of the newscast system. I'm just trying to learn how to use some of the software. My viewers, I ask you to just kind of bear with me. I'm planning on this looking a lot better than what it does when I get done, but this is just a beta test. Thanks for tuning in. God bless.